Merino. The wool from this sheep is so fine that a single fiber is thinner than human hair, actually thinner than baby hair. We're talking 15 microns. For comparison, a human hair is 70 microns. You could stack 5 merino fibers inside one strand of your hair. This is the wool that luxury brands fight over. Armani, Prada, high-end athletic wear. Your $200 base layer for skiing? That fancy sweater that doesn't itch? The fabric so soft it feels like wearing a cloud, but somehow regulates temperature in both heat and cold. One animal created an entire luxury textile industry. A single merino produces 10 to 20 pounds of wool per year. Multiply that by millions of sheep, and you understand why Australia built its entire economy on these animals. At one point, wool was so valuable that smuggling merino sheep out of Spain was punishable by death. Literal death. For stealing sheep, the wrinkles are intentional. More wrinkles mean more skin surface area. More surface area means more wool follicles. More follicles mean more profit. Farmers selectively bred these animals to be as wrinkly as possible, turning sheep into wool-producing machines. But those wrinkles create a problem. Moisture gets trapped in the folds, attracting flies that lay eggs in the skin. The solution for decades was a brutal procedure called mulesing. Australia is slowly phasing it out, but the debate still rages. The world's softest wool comes with the industry's ugliest controversy. Suffolk. This sheep exists for one reason: to turn grass into meat faster than any other breed. That black face isn't decoration. It's a marker of genetics engineered for muscle. Lambs reach market weight in 90 days, 3 months, from birth to butcher in a single season. No other sheep breed converts feed to flesh with this efficiency. If farming is math, Suffolk is the equation that always solves for profit. The wool is almost irrelevant. Suffolk fleece is coarse, short, and worth so little that some farmers don't even bother shearing. They breed these sheep purely for meat. The wool is just something that happens to grow while waiting for slaughter. 90% of commercial lamb in American supermarkets has Suffolk genetics somewhere in its bloodline. You've eaten this sheep even if you've never heard its name. The black-faced lamb in every children's book illustration? Suffolk, the default American sheep. They're terrible mothers. Suffolk ewes frequently reject their lambs, forget where they left them, or simply walk away. Commercial operations expect bottle babies every season. The trade-off for all that muscle is apparently brain cells. Fast growth, slow thinking. Valais Blacknose. This sheep has more Instagram followers than most humans. Literally. There are Valais Blacknose accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers. People who have never touched a farm animal will pay $30 for a plushie that looks like this breed. The face is completely black. The wool is completely white. Spiral horns curl out from a head that looks like it was designed by a cartoon studio. Every feature seems exaggerated on purpose, but it's completely natural. Swiss mountain farmers have been breeding these for centuries, long before anyone knew what an algorithm was. They're insanely expensive. A breeding pair can sell for $10,000 to $30,000. Some exceptional animals have sold for over $50,000. For a sheep, people are paying luxury car money for livestock that looks like a stuffed toy came to life. The personality matches the face. Valais Blacknose are absurdly friendly. They approach strangers, follow people around, and seem to enjoy being photographed. Either they evolved to trust humans completely, or they're somehow aware of their own cuteness. Both explanations are unsettling. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. At the end of this video, I'm going to ask a question that only people who watched everything will be able to answer. Stay until the end, and the next breed has 4 horns, not 2, 4. Jacob 4 horns, sometimes 6, occasionally 2. The genetics are chaotic. You breed 2 4-horned parents and might get a lamb with 2 horns, 4 horns, or some asymmetrical combination that looks like a glitch in the matrix. The pattern is spotted. Black and white, never predictable, never the same twice. No 2 Jacob sheep look alike. Every animal is a unique genetic accident that somehow keeps happening the same way for thousands of years. The name comes from the Bible, Book of Genesis. Jacob bred spotted sheep as payment for working for his father-in-law. Whether these are the actual descendants of biblical sheep or just named after the story, nobody knows for sure. But the breed is genuinely ancient. Paintings from 3,000 years ago show sheep that look exactly like modern Jacobs. The wool is naturally multicolored. Spinners and weavers love it because you can create patterns without dyeing anything. One fleece contains multiple shades from cream to chocolate to black. The sheep pre-mix the colors for you. They're rare. Conservation status is listed as threatened. Four-horned sheep that might be descended from biblical flocks and produce self-designing wool are somehow not popular enough to save themselves from extinction. The world is strange. Dorper. This sheep sheds its own wool. No shearing required. The coat falls off naturally every spring like a dog blowing its winter fur. South African farmers created it because hiring shearers in the African bush was impossible. That solves a problem most people don't know exists. Wool never stops growing. If you don't shear a sheep, the fleece keeps piling on until the animal overheats, goes blind from wool covering its eyes, or gets so heavy it can't stand up. A sheep in Australia went missing for 5 years and was found carrying 90 pounds of wool. It almost died. Dorpers solved this by deleting wool from the equation. The trade-off is no wool income. But labor is expensive. Equipment is expensive. The math works out for farmers who want meat without the textile side hustle. Raise them, sell them, never touch a shearing blade. Heat tolerance is extreme. Dorpers thrive in deserts that would kill European breeds in days. Texas ranchers started importing them when they realized these sheep could handle August in the hill country without dropping dead. Now they're everywhere in the South. The blackhead is from Dorset genetics. The white body is from Persian sheep. Dorper is literally a portmanteau of Dorset and Persian. Someone combined two breeds from opposite ends of the earth and created a sheep that thrives in places neither parent could survive. Icelandic. Vikings brought these sheep to Iceland around 900 AD. For over 1,000 years, no other sheep breeds were allowed on the island. Complete genetic isolation. The sheep you see today are genetically identical to what Vikings owned. Living fossils with wool. They survive conditions that would kill modern commercial breeds. Volcanic eruptions, Arctic winters, months of darkness, limited vegetation. Icelandic sheep evolved to eat things other sheep won't touch. Seaweed, moss, whatever grows on frozen rocks. The fleece has 2 layers, a long outer coat called tog that sheds water and wind, a soft inner layer called thell that traps heat against the body. Traditional Icelandic sweaters use both layers together. That's why they're waterproof and warm at the same time. The sheep designed the technology. Humans just copied it. Milk production is surprisingly high. Icelanders make skyr, a yogurt-like dairy product from sheep milk. The same animal gives you wool, meat, and dairy, triple-purpose livestock from a single breed, efficiency born from isolation. Import laws still protect them. Bringing outside sheep genetics to Iceland remains illegal. The government treats breed purity like national security. 1,000 years of genetic isolation enforced by law, continuing into the modern era. The Vikings would approve. Babydoll Southdown. This sheep has a job you wouldn't expect: vineyard maintenance. Wine producers hire flocks of baby dolls to graze between grape rows because they're too short to reach the fruit but tall enough to eat the weeds. Maximum height is 24 inches at the shoulder. That's knee-high on most adults. They waddle through vineyards eating grass and clover while completely ignoring the grapes hanging above their heads, living lawnmowers that don't need gasoline and fertilize while they work. Napa Valley wineries pay premium prices for baby doll rental. Organic certification is easier when you can prove no chemical herbicides touched your vineyard. The sheep eat the weeds, their manure feeds the soil, and the marketing writes itself. Sustainably grazed wine sells better than "we sprayed chemicals between the vines." The face looks like it's smiling. Something about the mouth structure creates a permanent happy expression. Combined with the small-sized teddy bear appearance and actual usefulness, these sheep became a lifestyle brand. People who don't farm buy them as pets just to have something cute that also mows the lawn. They almost disappeared. By the 1990s, fewer than 500 existed. A dedicated group of breeders brought them back specifically because someone realized miniature sheep could solve a problem for the wine industry. Extinction avoided by employment. Scottish Blackface. This sheep lives on mountains where helicopters can't land, cliffs where humans won't climb, weather that kills unprepared hikers in hours. These animals thrive in conditions that should be impossible for livestock. The Highland clearances tried to erase them. Scottish landlords evicted tenant farmers in the 1800s, burned their homes, and replaced families with sheep. Entire communities were destroyed so these animals could graze. The breed's success story is also a human tragedy. They're hefted to the land. That's a real term. Ewes teach their lambs the boundaries of their grazing territory. Knowledge passes from mother to daughter across generations. The sheep inherit a mental map of their mountain. Sell the flock, and the new sheep won't know where to go. The land loses its memory. The horns spiral dramatically on rams, thick, ridged, curving back behind the head, then forward again. In a world of polled commercial breeds, Scottish Blackface look ancient, primitive, like sheep that walked out of a medieval painting and somehow kept living. Dolly the sheep, the first cloned mammal, was created using a cell from a Scottish Blackface. The breed that survived the most hostile environment on British soil also became the template for a scientific revolution. Tough enough for mountain winters and laboratories alike. And now the question I promised at the beginning. Only people who watched everything will know the answer. Of the 8 breeds in this video, which one was used to create the first cloned mammal in history? Comment below. Subscribe for more barnyard breakdowns.